Post notes from last week into this.
All right,
You gotta know where.
we're 17 minutes late. It is 11:17 on January 23rd, the year of our Lord 2026.
Amen.
A shout out to Steve Bannon
Yes.
because that's what he does. So,
Every day.
so we like to emulate what he does, and I will tell you that this has probably been one of the most exciting weeks. All over the place, state, local, and international,
Oh, glory to
or
God.
federal and international, with Davos and what people have seen Trump doing over there, and it's been a lot of fun. So I don't know where we want to start talking about. I would probably just mention Trump and Greenland and what's going on there. I don't know if people understand or know what Davos, Switzerland is, and what that World Economic Forum and what they all meet each year. That has been the driver from the ultra big corporations, big tech, big NGO, big money, big government, NGOs, but they have for years now. It's all globalist stuff. They have been talking climate change. Well, started off climate warming. Now, global warming. Now it's climate change because it's obviously getting colder, not hotter. To all the woke, the DEI stuff. Sir?
Because the sun is producing less energy.
Well, they're blocking it.
They're not blocking it.
Is that what the Golden Dome is? Is blocking it? But we won't. We'll try not to get sidetracked, but they talk about DEI, ESG scores, all that kind of stuff, and that is what comes back and gets permeated into our society, into Main Street. And I will tell, as I told somebody last night about it, what I have experienced as a licensed attorney in the state of Georgia. We all have to take continuing legal education. I have seen a pronounced. Not talking in the past year or so, but certainly over the past 4 years of Biden and even before that, the continuing legal education classes we had to take, ethics and all that kind of stuff, but they are all permeated with DEI type stuff. Mm-hmm. So if your lawyers are being taught that they have to do DEI, and literally they're saying you have to because the Supreme Court ruled on something, yada yada, so that the lawyers then tell the CEOs and general counsels of corporations and the government people, and that's how it all gets permeated, down to again Main Street. But
Trump, the case that they're referring to,
I don't remember what the exact case is, but there's something out there that was doing it. And then obviously there's a big DEI law firm here in Greenville, headquartered out of Greenville. Some of our opposition works there. Either as attorneys and or paralegals or whatever they do. But that's what is pushing it. Now, I'm very curious what that law firm is now doing a year later, a year after Trump's inauguration, because everything has changed. And the comments were coming out of Davos, and some of the more conservative commentators were, corporations, they will go wherever they kind of see the money. They're in business to make money. And, if they see the tide has turned on all this crazy DEI, woke, ESG, all that kind of stuff, and I think a lot of it has. It's still there. There's a lot of it. They are pushing it. And it's like liberty. You have to be diligent about it. You can't just say, oh, Trump's elected, let's go back to sleep. The work, has just begun, in the past year. And, but it's Christmas every day with him in there for 360, 65 or 68 days now. But, Trump, it's Larry Fink, who's the founder, I think, BlackRock or Blackstone, I think BlackRock. He is now taken over the World Economic Forum and is chairing it as opposed to Klaus Schwab or whoever that guy.
I thought his son was.
Larry Fink was the chair in the opening and all that. Yes, yeah. But even he made the comment that in the history, or at least in the past 2.5 decades, the World Economic Forum, only 2 sitting presidents, have come to Davos or to wherever they were having it, and both times were President Trump. So, well, the story was this time, Trump and America First, were coming to Davos. And holy cow, they did. Scott Bessent, our Treasury Secretary, some of the comment. Trump talked for an hour and 45 minutes, and it was just like, holy cow, I can't believe this guy's saying all this stuff. And he is just laying it out
That's right.
off the cuff. I mean, he had his, but he talked about Greenland. Some people said, oh, he's capitulated and dialing back on Greenland. You got to be kidding me. He got exactly what he wanted. I'm like, and plus we don't have to pay for it. I'm like, holy cow. I mean,
more than what he wanted.
he got more than what he wanted.
He starts up here, expecting this, and ends up here.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I know. And
Understand that.
but look at the freak fest that they had. 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago with for those oil executives and up in
Plays them.
he's living in their mind, but he sat there and said, "Oh, well, we may just have to take Greenland, Give it to me, or I'm going to come take it." And the European countries freaked out so much, they started sending troops to Greenland to protect against American invasion. I mean, you want to talk about, as Terry said, all 35 of
That's
us.
the first time we ever got anybody in NATO to do anything.
They're protecting themselves against us, as opposed to wanting us to go, put troops
So they
in
sent 35 of
Ukraine.
their troops there. One of our Delta operators could take them all out before breakfast and go,
I can
okay.
take them out.
Well,
Listen, I mean, it is like literally the ultimate troll. I mean, this guy, I'm like, like you got to be kidding. I just can't believe this is actually going on. And and you see people in America freak out about it, the left, and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, you guys have y'all not learned anything over the literally the past decade? Trump has been doing this for 10 years.
Did not read his book?
Well, I mean, you haven't read his book, I mean, and I highly recommend read his book. Olga and I, we told you guys we streamed The Apprentice, binge watch The Apprentice and then The Celebrity Apprentice. You want to know something? You want to understand him? Watch it.
That's right.
And the guy hasn't changed. The guy loves America. The guy is promoting America. The guy's about, I see a problem, I can find a solution. He has that kind of confidence, and he's right, because I look at things that way too. I mean, show me a problem, I will give you the solution. You may not like it. You may not be willing to do it because you're too lazy or it's too much work or too what. But don't tell me you want to solve a problem and then when you have a solution, you don't go do it. Now, granted, you could, and Olga and I talk about this, to me, it's always find a solution and make it better. How can we do it more efficiently or more economically or all that kind of stuff? But that's what Trump does. And it's like, we have a problem with the potential of ballistic missiles coming across, the North Pole into America, from China and or Russia. And, what did, everybody, not everybody remembers, but, you remember Ronald Reagan and his negotiations with the old Soviet Union. What did they not want? They did not want Star Wars. They did not want an anti-ballistic program. They did not want us to be able to say, guess what? I don't care how many nukes you got. Send them on. We'll shoot them down. Okay. It's not a big, that's what they did not want. We probably did not have the technology back in 80, whatever it was, late 80s. But I'm like, we certainly have it today. And, it will be an expense and it will protect. And I think, America has, 40 or 50 anti-ballistic missiles out there or on U.S. soil, either in California and or Alaska.
Plus, we have to be able to gauge what Canada's doing with China.
Oh yeah, that'll be the next.
That's really a big part.
That's part B. That's part B of this discussion. But I mean, that anti-ballistic missile, program was really just to stop a rogue attack. The Iranians get something and some crazy terrorist group wants to send something at us, we can stop it. It certainly wasn't designed to defeat the Russians and or the Chinese from sending, literally hundreds and hundreds of ballistic missiles at us. So, if we can protect against that, it is, and obviously y'all all heard it, Greenland security, U.S. security, is European security. So, I mean, think about this other half of it. This is the derangement syndrome, which we will get into in regards to what happened on Wednesday and the closed primaries down at the State House. But the derangement syndrome, Trump asked for something that will benefit Europe and save them money and all this kind of stuff. And they say no, because they do not want to give Trump a victory on anything. And we saw that with the closed primary stuff. People, we won't close primaries. It's been a major issue forever, and now all of a sudden it's all confused, and and guess what? We're going to end up having at the end of the day continued open primaries. Establishment wins. We got to figure that out. Stop being manipulated and distracted by something else. I don't want to talk about candidate qualifications because that has nothing to do with closed primaries.
19 years. Been trying to close primaries for 19 years.
Oh, I mean, it's
Well,
been forever.
We got a legitimate chance now to get 33-10 across the board. 36-43. A lot of the backers have backed out of that one because they don't like it. It's still got too many loopholes in it. So they are trying 30-10. But the governor has already said they want to get to his desk, he will veto it.
It won't get past the Senate in all likelihood. If it does, the governor says I'll veto it. And I don't think, even though we have a supermajority, I'm not quite sure the supermajority would override the governor's veto on this because part of that supermajority is reliant upon crossover votes to get them elected. So,
Shouldn't we write the governor and say, why would he veto it?
He doesn't care.
I mean, he doesn't care, but you get him on the record saying, I'm vetoing it because I want to have open primary.
we'll get to that. What we're gonna do, we're gonna hopefully get somebody to help us with production, and we'll have a calendar, an agenda for what we're doing, and add videos and stuff like that. But let me get to part B of what Bob was bringing up over here. Part B is Canada. Right, we got a prime minister of Canada who's an ex-Goldman Sachs guy. I appreciate the Goldman Sachs folks as much as the next guy, but I know them a little bit more intimately on that. And there's some good, some bad. But ex-Goldman Sachs, ex-Bank of England, he is a major globalist. He has got so much Trump derangement syndrome that he's like, okay, we can't work with our biggest trading partner, America, within Trump. Because I'm so deranged about him, I'm going to go cut a deal with the communist Chinese. I'm like, so you think the communist Chinese are better than Trump? That you'd rather work and cooperate and help build them? I'm not too concerned about it. The Chinese, China's got its own problems, with all the onshoring of what we're doing in America, what Trump's doing for that, what people are waking up, tariff, all that kind of. China's gonna have economic problems, And Olga made some comment. I think there was something in the press this week about their birth rate and all that stuff.
People in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
They got 1 billion of them or whatever it is, but they've been using that free and or cheap labor to boost their economy.
And now they're gonna pay real money for gasoline.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So
I mean,
it
is going to be a hit to their economy. China is not, as America has been able to do over the past 40, 70 years, whatever you want to say, the number is, we have subsidized the rest of America. I'm sorry, rest of the world, the rest of the globe.
Yeah.
And what the rest, yes. And China is not going to be able to subsidize Canada. They're eventually going to say, "Oh, this is too much." I mean, what are they going to do? Move production of Chinese vehicles into Canada? Or I mean, what?
Who's going to buy a Chinese vehicle?
I don't get it. But then I will tell you that somebody.
They don't control the supply chain.
Yeah.
There's so much other things other than just cars.
Right.
No, I
Well,
understand.
that's true.
Because they got the living wage is real important to them. And
They're not producing a quality
People are gonna buy a Chinese car if
I know, but
It's like the Yugo.
Speak into the speaker.
Everything's disposable today. So this one is cheap. Whoever expects cheap will buy something new. We don't fix anything. So it is disposable.
That's true.
Okay? So that's why it's worked so well.
Hold on, I will correct you on that. Some of us do fix stuff. So if you have seen the reel that we have, some of us, our big beautiful, this is from a couple weeks ago. Our big beautiful refrigerator went on the fritz. And I have had it for probably 20 years. Probably 20 years. And it's like, oh my God, what are we gonna do now? I really don't want to go out and buy an $800,000 whatever refrigerator. So I sent her on an exploration trip into YouTube. How do you fix that darn thing? And we went through, she went through videos.
Oh,
She went, listen, I was sick.
Making sure.
Yes.
I was in bed.
We're making sure we're holding. We're holding to it. We know better.
I'm willing to admit I was in bed and I was not moving, but my mouth was.
I don't think there's anything that'll stop that, is there?
You were coaching, right?
My eyes were closed. I was like, there's got to be a solution. There's got to be a solution. I'm like Trump, find a solution. There is a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. We found a $14.99 cart
Wow.
that she got in there, Swish. Tommy Marafa came over and helped us, with some little clips and something.
Clips
Yep.
on the wire that I first burned before.
Oh yeah,
I ordered the part.
yeah.
Like,
There were.
the refrigerator on fire for like 5 minutes. So.
It did smoke up the entire room.
Wow.
So that's why I think people don't try to fix things. They're like they might blow up. we took the chance.
Because it's working.
But at the end of the day, that thing we put the new thing in there, plugged it in. It's like, and you can hit $14.95.
And
2
then-
days shipping.
That's so true.
It was great, and but think about this from the environmentalist perspective. We didn't trash a big
Yeah, the
refrigerator. We didn't have to go buy another one.
Actually, number one, he was sick, and I couldn't count on him to help me carry.
She's not joking about that. Yeah, I'm like, there's no way I'm moving this thing.
I
That's
already
okay.
had a dolly in my
That's
garage.
okay.
I was going to try to tackle it.
I bless your heart.
And then when I thought I was going to have to look at the refrigerator at the curb for like a week or whatever, that was just scary. That was the reason we really didn't do it. I to even think about it, where I'm supposed to take that old fridge and all, that was the main issue for me.
The $1,000 new fridge was the issue for me.
Yeah, right. So between the
It's
two,
really more than that.
Probably.
That's double that.
Yeah.
between the two, we decided to give it a try. And it worked.
Yay.
It worked out great. And I encourage everybody to try that type of stuff. We don't need to be a throwaway society.
right.
The only thing we need to throw away is our microwave, which we threw away a couple of years ago and got rid of that kind of stuff. So,
Well, I'll just call over Sharon.
so
Tommy.
Yeah, that's right. I told me before.
Tommy has helped us on a few things. Thank you, sir.
He's helped
And,
Including the kitty door.
he did put the kitty door the last time I was taking chemo, and I had no earthly idea, but I'm laying in bed in the back of the house and I hear a saw going off. I'm like, oh Lord. Somebody's taking advantage of the indolent. So, but it worked out. But that's my thing on Davos. We can talk. It was, Gavin Newsom was there. They literally made him look like a fool.
He doesn't need any help looking like a
it was,
He does it pretty well on his own.
and
He was crying that he was not allowed into the U.S. pavilion.
Oh.
The immigrants come for the
Yeah,
US
yeah.
delegation.
They blamed Trump for kicking him out. Yeah, that was just.
he looked like the most bitter, sad, angry, kind of pitiful little, not a world leader. And he is, and oh yes, if y'all have not seen it, apparently that's what he's now going around with these red knee pads that are the Trump signature edition, because he had printed Trump signature on the front. And he's handing them out to all these corporations and world leaders, saying you're getting on your knees, bowing down, or worse concept of what you can think about what he's talking about. And I'm like, how is that promoting America? I'm like, how are you doing? How are you promoting?
He wants to be president.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he wants to be president. And I didn't realize this until I looked it up. California is the fourth largest, economy in the world.
Really?
He is the leader of the fourth largest economy in the world. And what's happening in California right now? Everybody's moving out. Yes.
Bankrupt. I'm not bankrupt, but
It's close to. It's close to bankrupt.
massive debt.
And I didn't see it myself personally, but one of the commentators was talking about the Sacramento Bee, which I assume is a very little newspaper out there. And,
Oh, yeah.
Even they were trashing Newsom for embarrassing himself in California and America. So
California may be very close to bankruptcy, but the United States seems to be very close. It seems to be turning around. Get the right leaders in
That's
California,
exactly right.
and it could all turn around.
yes,
It's
and
possible.
it could.
but
the people that are in California keep voting the same way.
Well,
And
you know,
they're not going to change.
Well, no, you have to have
all
fair
the
election,
on
honest
the fog,
elections.
it might come around.
Yeah, you get rid of the fraud and clean
Oh, yeah.
have election integrity. You clean up all this stuff.
So it's possible it could turn around.
Yeah, and we have an opportunity to do it right now. And I think if you look at the focus of what Trump has done over the past year, there's been a great deal of focus on the economy because he knows midterms were coming. We got to focus on everything's kind of ratcheting up. He's got to focus on the economy. So it's hitting a peak. I mean, the guy times things right, and it's going to hit a peak or certainly on a very upward trajectory with the midterm elections. Hopefully that will beat the common convention that the party in power loses the midterm. But yeah, the Atlanta Fed reported 5.3% GDP growth annualized.
No, they didn't want to. But they did.
Yeah.
I truly didn't want to. I will tell you, and people that don't come for the finance, 3% is like fantastic. We're talking 5.3.
We're 37 trillion in debt and bringing in 6 trillion and spending 7.
Right, but the deficit came down, right? Because of tariffs.
I hadn't heard the deficit.
The deficit came down.
Did it
Yes.
come down?
Yeah, I think $200 billion is my understanding. The deficit came down more than projected. 200 billion versus what had been projected. If you look at the supply side stimulus of the big beautiful bill, which will only be really hitting it, with these tax refunds and going into the next, all of the infrastructure building, remember the old days, Ross Perot, the great sucking sound, and all that kind of stuff. We were literally, if you look at the numbers, there were literally thousands of plants and businesses shutting down and or moving, across the borders, north and south. NAFTA, North America Free Trade.
Oh, yeah.
They go bushwhack.
Exodus.
Right. Exodus. That should have been the better. That is not happening. We're hearing the great sucking sound coming into America from the rest of the world.
We are the big back.
Right.
Yes.
We are the sucking sound now, and it's
Yes.
like, send us back our stuff.
Oh, yeah, because that's you both are in the same boat.
Well, yes,
Butch Senior and Paul. Yeah.
One at a time. Yes.
Yesterday, I was checking out about the economy, and it says that, wages to what we're paying.
Yes.
Right now, it's the same it was in 1969. So, so we're not really, down that.
Yeah, there's a lot of positive stuff economic wise on the horizon. I don't know if people noticed Trump's speech. He also talked about election fraud 2020
Right.
and prosecutions and or arrests were coming, indictments coming. The man has already moved on to the next thing. Remember, even if you just look at the past few weeks,
He never said that before.
right? No, he is not, because he now knows. Hey, we got Venezuela taken care of. He's got Greenville taken care of. What's the next shiny object for people to look at? Well, he's preparing the next shiny object. So I think they are. My hope is they've been working on that, and that's coming, and it needs to come. And I know there's been a lot of frustration, certainly on our side, that you're not seeing indictments, you're not seeing perp walks, you're not seeing all that kind of stuff. But my hope is it is coming. I do appreciate the fact that they have been very not back offish in Minnesota. They've actually surged, and the vice president was there yesterday and all that kind of stuff. Pam Bondi, for God's sake, what would have happened in any other Republican administration had there been a leftist demonstration into a church?
They would
They would have caved.
That's
They
right.
would-
Absolutely caved.
Freedom of speech. No.
Or, you have
But
no-
remember
Oh, yeah,
how the judges are very liberal. So
Yes, I
they're pushing cases
But-
out.
but-
So we need to
But
understand.
that's okay. But that's how you.
We need to understand that.
Sometimes doing these things is to ferret out the
That's
opposition.
right.
I told another county chair this yesterday about something that he's doing, and he's catching a bunch of grief about it. I'm like, but he's not backing down. And he
Good.
said, they're saying, and I'm telling I said, the positive thing about this is you will ferret people out.
Yes.
You will ferret out the people that need to go. I hate to say that. That is mean and harsh, but Trump needs, I'm trying to give a little bit of grace to the other side. But no, it is not harsh. They need to be removed with extreme prejudice.
Yes.
Okay, and we'll talk about it when we talk about the closed primary bill. You see the people that got up and spoke, GOP leaders from Rhino counties. They are. I'm on a email thread that's been going on for 2 weeks with 108 people on it from the state executive meeting, chairs and state DCs. I haven't commented once because it is like ridiculous. It is like you're a problem. You're a problem. You're a problem. They're all. And I'm like, and I'm telling our people, they're never coming to the table. They're never going to have a discussion. They are always going to be whatever the party line is, their party line, because they want to go to the governor's Christmas party.
Yes.
That's the only thing most of them want. The vast majority.
But in any good business, well-run business, you identify the people that are not productive in any way that you can.
And then you weed them out.
Well, they are productive to the chairman.
Yeah.
Well,
Not the commission.
but from our side,
Commission.
Depending what
I know
the
that.
commission is.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying.
yes,
There's a.
I agree. But the fact that the grassroots is now becoming more vocal,
Right.
we use that to gather intel, and we know this is the guy to go after next.
but my goal for our folks statewide is to learn these people are never coming to the table.
Something else.
Stop falling.
They're
for
not.
their tricks.
They're not. I actually, I'll check and
Go
see
to
if
the next thing.
I'll check and see if I've gotten a response. No.
Mhm.
But I sent a text to one of the county ECs that on her email that she sent out, to this big group, we need to have a united party. I'm like, okay.
That's a dangerous.
Like, okay, let me test this. Screenshot, text it to her. Okay, since you believe in a united party, it starts with allowing everybody into the room.
Right.
Oh, you won't. They've barred me from the room since December of 2021. Zero due process. I talked to somebody this week. They called us that was actually in the meeting in December of 2021, state EC meeting, and they were just like, it was so ridiculous. You didn't get to defend yourself. You didn't know about it beforehand. You didn't. They walked you out with 3 police officers.
Right.
They then now say that the state executive committee is a continuing body. So anything they did way back then still lasts now. It has always never been a continuing body. Never. And they now say it's a continuing
It's a
body.
violation of Robert's rules. It's a violation of their own rules. The body exists between conventions. That's it.
How
That's
much
the way
is
it was.
constitutional,
Well, it's
there's so many.
Right.
you can talk about the complicated ones, but it's so clear. No response. That person never gonna respond to me, right? They don't want a unified party.
They want to stay. They want us fractured.
Yes.
They want to keep it fractured because
Because what? Why? If they keep it fractured, what do they get? They
Control.
status quo, no change. They're happy with it.
That's right.
3310, 34.
Most of them are in bed with the other side anyway.
Yep.
Yes.
So,
But
even though they
again, we need to understand their tactics and their strategy, and we need to counter them.
Yes.
We need to play 3D chess.
while they're still playing checkers.
Well, they've been playing chess. They know what they're doing.
These guys know what they're doing.
But our side has to learn.
We have.
Because we have gone through there's people sitting there saying, oh, we should unite with them. I'm like, you realize they just voted out Pickens.
Yeah.
We're not talking what they did to me 5 years ago. I'm talking 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. I'm talking to what they did to Pickens 2 months ago. Like, are you not? They're not coming to the table.
They don't follow the rules. We want to follow the rules. They don't, and they're not going to.
No, they're
They
not.
want to just change the rules, make it fit their narrative.
Correct. The rules are written in such a way. What they did with Pickens at the state convention is they used the committee that had no authority to unseat Pickens. I didn't have my copy of the rules that brought in as the rules committee was, that the credential committee was making. Bad on me. But the next day when we went to the state convention, I pull up the rules and I'm reading them, and I go to our credentialing chair here, and I said, Joe, here's the state rule. He goes up to the microphone, you're violating your own rules. Bam, shut him down.
Yep.
Here's
my
my
Shut them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut it down.
Shut his mic off.
All right.
That's dishonest.
It is.
Well, look
But-
who-
but-
look who
but
it is.
see, but again,
That goes without saying.
we have to understand that they're not going to follow their own rules. So we have to, as Jeff says, we have to overpower
We
them
have to
with
keep them
numbers.
honest.
We have to overpower them. You can't keep them
You can't
honest.
keep
You
them
have to
honest.
overpower them.
Dishonest people will always win.
Hey, dishonest people will always be dishonest, and it's not going to change.
Yeah, it's not gonna change. Yeah,
It's
that's-
not. They can
not.
only be.
And we have to be careful who we associate with
Yep.
because God's word says, and God's word can be twisted,
Very much so.
okay? Some of God's word applies to believers, some applies to university. 1 Corinthians 15:33. Remember, bad company corrupts good
Exactly.
morals.
Yep.
Okay, so if you associate with people like this, what's going to happen to you?
Eventually, you're gonna get corrupted.
That's right.
So watch out.
Have nothing to do with them.
Yeah, do speak loud because we're live streaming it, so they can't.
So when we're dealing with, rhinos and extremely difficult people that are clearly corrupt, all of that is true. But we also have people in our network here that are PCs that they're just not seeing the forest with the trees.
Yeah.
They're excessive. Or they're not really looking at the glass 3/4 full, they're looking at the part that's under. So for those people there, instead of blocking us from a united front, we need a little bit more of a humble and caring approach, an educated approach.
Who needs to be humble? We do it.
Well, yeah, we could, it's all exciting to say, oh, yeah, let's go out and sick of, but what I mean is, and that's the approach.
And I'm saying that basically against rhinos, long-term rhinos.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
We do have the problem with people that were from our side that we call splinters. They splinter off.
Right.
They end up having ulterior motives. I will tell you, but we do reach out to those. I reach out. I texted a chair. An ADC from another county that's obviously opposed to us this morning. They never texted me. They never wanted to come to the table or understand. They know what they're doing. The same thing is with the splinters, that part of us that step away that do things. They will not come to the table. They will not speak. They will not ask a question. They will not submit, oh, I want some changes, or I've got some questions about your financial reports that you're putting out, or the meeting minutes. They want to grab the microphone at a meeting and disrupt and make it look ridiculous.
To your credit, Jeff, you're very diplomatic and say,
Sometimes.
True.
No, I admit, but we're learning.
But you do have a good attitude in general. So I just would say, yes, addressing, what I've been talking about here. So, de-escalating a situation can be very much beneficial. It might be a very long haul. It may be a long more.
But no, it is great. I'm glad you did, because I do want us, and we will talk more about that over the coming weeks. We will do some Zoom calls about it and talk about some things that we want to. I'm all about teaching and guy gets I say educating, but teaching people, opening their eyes, but the political and mental manipulation that goes on. Because until we all wake up to the process. Investments will say, oh, it's not about the price of the investment, it's about the process. Everything investing is about process. Bill analysis and all of this stuff in politics is about the process and understanding what is going on. To his credit, I will give Hurst a shout out. I don't know if he's watching today or whatnot, but Glenn he's like, he had to go through the thought process of whether closed primary bills, should we be being distracted by the candidate qualification that they've now slipped in there, the 2 of 3 primary rule. And Glenn's like, he's like, am I just being emotional and wanting to make sure David Pascoe can get on there, or is this really a distraction? And he thought through it, and he's like, yes, it is true. If you think about it independently, try to be as independent and logical and principled as you can, non-emotional, he came to that conclusion that yes, this has nothing to do with closed primaries. Candidate qualification has nothing to do with closed primaries. But they've inserted that into our closed primary debate to be able to confuse the situation enough, and too many people have taken the bait, and now nothing will probably
And
move.
they put it in my point of view, so they put that in there to cause the chaos.
Yes, yes,
They actually
yes,
Brandon,
On purpose.
when he
yes.
gave
Speak loud.
he gave his opening speech about he's all in favor of 4643 and how it's the bill. Then he goes into the thing. Well, I think we've caused a civil war within the group here.
MAGA is causing this.
Huh?
The MAGA group is causing this.
No, but he's almost to the point. It seemed like he was conceded like this is a bad bill because
He wanted to table the whole thing. He wanted to stop. This is the guy that's leading.
he's leading it, and on another chat they call him Drew's old boy.
Who is that? Who? Brandon
He's the one who-
He's a house rep out of Kenneth Kershaw.
He's
in
the one
Lancaster
who-
County.
he's the one who brought 4643.
He,
He's a sponsor of it. He started it.
Yeah, he's one of the.
And so he basically, when he started, well, he was given all these excuses why we can't have closed primaries because McMaster's it's not gonna go through the Senate. We've caused too much controversy here at 310, 3010, and it go to the Senate. It's almost like this bill I proposed is a bad bill. He kind of wanted to say that.
He knew it was.
Right, but he does not want true closed
And the
primaries.
bad thing is he's not really the one who wrote that bill. Drew wrote that.
Oh, well, obviously.
That was written by them because they're
I
trying
don't
to
think
keep
he has the
Casco out. That's the
capability
only
to
thing.
write the bill. But he did, I think it's in there to cause a controversy, cause a chaos, and say, you know what? I think ultimately, I think there's two, but they're pretty opposite. He wanted to just say, well, these bills are you're causing so much problem, we can't move these forward. They're going to ultimately get their goal is the primaries will remain open.
Stay the same. Status quo is a victory for them.
But my take on it is if we could get both of these bills to go forward, and I like what we talked about Mark Smith. I like what he said. Let's go there. Let's go through the process. Let's get these bills in there and let them people put on amendments on them, edit them, and see if we can go forward. I mean, to me, that's the better thing. I mean, it'd be great if 3310 would go forward. But I don't think it will. I think number one option, I think they just want to say, okay, you guys we're happy, we worked on this, but sorry, we're gonna shelve it for a while, and we're gonna maintain closed open primaries.
all right, so Frank, with the legislature pumping the brakes on what we want, what strategy tactics do we need to develop so that we can just tell them, here we roll? The same thing that Jeff has been saying for a while. We have to increase turnout so that it's irrelevant if Democrats cross over. That's what we have to do.
Oh, I agree with that. No, that's
Ultimately, that would be the way to defeat it. But in
now
the big picture,
Well,
is you got so many
that's
people
two
that
different
just
things.
think there's only time to vote when it's
One at a time. Speaking of the mic, one at a time.
There's
We're
too
gonna
many,
dump this like our last GCRP meeting.
there's too many,
Name and precinct.
too
Don't
many
make me
of
put
them.
chairs up.
Too many of them. Your problem that we have is you have too many rhinos that control things. Too many of the counties are rhino counties. We need to take over the counties first.
Correct.
And not we've controlled this county. Spartanburg is now in control. Pickens is now in control. We're spreading out and we're trying to help them. But you got the coast and you got from the Midlands down that are still so left wing.
And there a lot of the ECs are definitely in Drew's pocket.
Yep. Okay, now, what Newton said, this is a distraction. Too many MAGA Republicans are getting this illusion by all of this, and they're going to stop. So we have to counter that. I thought that closed primaries was the most important thing that needs to be done.
I did too.
Okay, it's not going to happen because of the way everything's set up. So now we have to defeat them another way.
What we need to do, and what we do here in Greenville, for the rest of the world, we focus on the pick and shovel work. We focus on the mission. It's okay to send some people. We got a team, and we got, we can delegate things out. We send people down to Columbia. We engage in the fight or whatever, but we don't stop the entire world.
No.
How much of our resources did we dedicate to go down to Colombia and do this stuff? Yeah, we had some others, and we participated in some, but we had most of our people working on the pick and shovel, the local election and zoning and tech stuff and voter stuff and that's what we got to focus on.
Yes.
And what I focus on it with, my side of it is, and ultimately it gets down to focus on reorg, focus on getting the delegates to your county convention, focus on electing your MAGA America First slate, and take over the state executive committee, take over the state leadership, and then we will be pounding the heck out of the legislators. We are not going to get closed primary. We may. We have accomplished some things over the years. We've got some Second Amendments, but it's like it's the crust of the pizza versus the pizza. As I look at somebody's pizza this year, it's a distraction, and they keep us on looking at the silver, at the shiny object. We need to be focused on turning out people to our reorgs. We need to focus on turning out and figuring out the voter turnout in elections and the voter data and all that kind of stuff to be able to get there. We are not going to get closed primaries, true pro-life legislation, real school choice. We're not going to get this stuff, I'm sorry to say, until we actually, control the machine. Right. The machine controls us. Right.
And also other counties, we need to get our message and get them into it and get those ECs that are in Drew's pockets out there too.
Right.
But
You could tell Drew was the big master puppeteer. He had like 4 people that lined up to speak. Even Chad spoke. Drew didn't have the guts enough to show up himself. He sent his minions out there.
He was in California at the RNC meeting.
There was an RNC meeting in California, which I assume he was out there for that. So.
Okay.
But Frank, this is where you're doing.
But he sent his mentor.
Yeah.
What you're doing with the legislative committee here is going to help other counties to get involved. And
Right.
just having massive presence there
That's
will
what I was
shake
gonna
them
say.
in their boots.
Yeah.
and
That's-
say, we
That's what I
can't
was
do
gonna
what you
say.
just.
It was a very good exercise.
No, I
Our
would
people
say
just
that-
need to learn
I think that's one thing I saw, because we did have a massive turnout of other people showing up. And I think some of the other, I shouldn't say lesser, but junior representatives that were in the meeting, they kind of saw this and they went, these people are serious here. They want closed primary.
It's coming.
Yeah,
But this is something that's very difficult for them. Giving us Second Amendment over, open carry, getting us down to 6 weeks on the pro-life, giving us, that's not going to cost them their election.
No, it's not.
Closed primaries.
But we're eating away at their stuff.
Right.
And I think
Exactly.
those are victories that we should
Yes.
take credit for and move forward. Okay, you gave us this, now we want this.
You got to move one
I
rock at a
agree.
time.
But I will tell you, and I made this comment to Frank on this morning. I see people from counties, rhino-controlled counties, complaining about this, and we need to do all this. We need to do blah 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 to be able to get this. Greenville needs to step up more and do more. I mean, they didn't say that, but I'm just it's kind of what they say, and I'm like, you know what we need to do? You need to get off of your butt and organize your precinct in your county and take out the rhino state EC that came and spoke down there on Drew's behalf.
Right.
And then you can be the person speaking at the mic at a House hearing, as opposed to, I know everything. I'm like, you can't organize your precinct. You can't organize your county. We organized Greenville County. We destroyed them in 2021. We fought through the fraud. We didn't just give up and sit on the sideline. Oh, woe is me. Jeff, they cheated. They had a fake. I imagine I sat around in 2021, me and Presley and the rest of our group sat around crybaby
Right.
that they cheated us in a stolen election, and they cheated us and with a virtual convention and just sat on the side. No, what did we do? We got the evidence. We forced them to have an investigative committee. The investigative committee that they put together had 7 or 8 or 9 people that all opposed us.
Right.
But we knew there was problems. We identified missing money. And then once there was missing money, there was nothing they could do. We got in the fight and did it. And guess what? 2023, they took up.
To grow.
Right. Continued to grow with the things we did, continued to educate, continued to do this on getting building, coffee pot, all that stuff. And then 2023, what did the state party do? They took over our reorg. How do you defeat people that cheated? And they said that, oh, we took it over because we want to be, to be fair. And they gave it to the people that cheated it last time to run it. And we beat them then. What we didn't sit there and say, oh, we're not going to participate. We sat there and said, okay, great. Game on. Show me a problem. I'll show you a solution. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of distraction. And we got involved and we beat them back in 23. And in 25, they didn't even participate. But what did we do in 25? What did we as a America First group, we divided this state up into congressional districts and assigned counties. Greenville, 4th congressional district, we were assigned hold Greenville, win Spartanburg. I'm not taking all the credit for winning Spartanburg. They did a lot of work, but they came here, they learned us, they listened to what we did, we supported them. Bill Frady got out there and did a whole bunch of stuff and brought some awareness to it, and we won Spartanburg. We controlled 100% of the 4th congressional district with delegates and county leadership. 3rd congressional district, there's 11 counties. We're one of them, so they don't have to worry about that. We held our same county. We won back at Coney, which was fantastic. But we got to get into those other counties.
We have a question.
We got to win. We can talk about stuff all day long, but until each congressional district, and we'll help other congressional districts, we're okay doing that. But your job one is to take care of your house. America First is about taking care of America.
Exactly.
We're America First. You got to take care of your precinct. Don't give me advice until you go take care of your precinct.
So that's what the question is about from our chairman from Neighborhood County. There is major interest to change to America First in smaller counties. How do you suggest flipping these more rural counties?
I think we go in there. I don't know who's asking the question, but okay, Barry, chairman of Oconee. What did you do to win Oconee? Oconee's got good conservatives. They went in there. They identified the problem person,
which was their
former chair that was installed by Drew McKinson because they cheated the heck out of the chair that won in our year back in 2021. We have to go into those counties, not to make peace or some sort of unified thing with the chair that's there. And we have to go in there and identify the enemy and purge them. There are enough people in every single county that if you go in there and say, in the case that I'm talking about out of Sumter, Sherry White, she's the state EC down there. I think Sumter had a meeting this week or last night or whatever. She's sitting there saying, oh yeah, the state EC discussed both bills. They discussed both bills.
That's not true.
That's not true, but that's what she said, though, right?
I don't know about that.
Oh, but she did. I'm told
that's on the chat I'm on. That one person said the only bill that Drew presented was 3643. I had people who are ECs.
Let me explain what Sherry White said. Oh, we discussed 2 bills. Okay, they discussed 3463.
Yeah,
the House bill
3643.
3643, and the companion bill in the Senate 305.
Right.
That's the 2 bills they talked. Everybody thought they talked. Oh, did you talk about the 2 House bills?
On the chat I'm on, there were ECs saying, I didn't even know 3310 existed.
Yes.
Right. Till like a few weeks ago.
Right.
But see the manipulation. Sherry White sat there and said, I've never talked to those women. I didn't know who she was. She spoke. It's the first time I've ever seen her speak. I've never knew her. She was elected state EC out of Sumter this past. I don't know who she is. I know nothing about her. But she's sitting there telling their body that they spoke about 2 bills. Yes, they spoke about 2 bills. The House bill and the Senate companion bill, which is the exact same language, but they only talked about 1 bill. She was trying to infer to everybody that they spoke about both bills and they compared and contrasted. The state executive committee went through a process and they decided on Drew's bill versus 3310. State ECs did not know, our people, America First, did not know about 3310. Yvonne Julian did not know anything about 3310. Yvonne Julian did not give us the Or maybe she did, because now
Well-
he actively supports Drew's bill.
Well, the Drew said, this is the bill you guys, from what I'm hearing, I was not at the state EC meeting or anything like that. They're all saying, well, Drew said, we're gonna go for closed primaries. This is the bill we're pushing. This is one out there. And they all, okay, we'll support that because we like closed primaries.
They like
Right. But he never mentions the
He never
candidate.
mentioned there's
The candidate quality.
Yeah,
And
He didn't mention that.
And 45-20?
and 45-20.
47-20.
45-20.
I thought it was 45-20.
Somebody write them on the board so we'll know.
Yeah.
Instead of always
That's
confusing.
a better bill, but that's, I mean, a lot of these ECs are not aware to me. That's what I discovered.
But that's why our legislative committee ultimately will be a statewide legislative committee to be able to focus on these things.
Yeah.
I would invite some of them in too. But that was, to me, I was flabbergasted when I saw this in the chat. Well, we never even heard of 2310.
But let's get back to the question at hand. How do we win these other counties? You have to go in there and identify the enemy. Sumter, either we can help Sumter, or I know there's a lot of really good people in Sumter. We need to go into Sumter, educate them, train them, to give them tools, because and identify the enemy. The enemy is the current leadership. Remove them. It's a numbers game. You've got to win enough executive EC precincts, and you got to get enough delegates to county convention, and then you elect a MAGA America First slate. It is not complicated. It's exactly what Oconee did this past year, and they recovered. But they didn't sit there and say, "Oh, let's go kumbaya with," what was that guy's name? The chair up there. The guy's horrible. I mean, but they were not trying to kumbaya with the guy that was Drew's lackey. Bootlick or something like whatever it is. But I mean, you've got to go identify the enemy and remove them with extreme prejudice. Per my words.
So, for my education, what's your take on Charleston County? And they're
Well, we saw the two people speak. Leadership is completely out of touch with everything. They're rhinos. It's okay.
Am I getting the name right? Mamie Grant.
Mamie is out of Charleston, yeah.
And she spoke and actually pointed. She did what you're saying. Is that this guy who's running, they stole our reorg.
Yes, and I would highly encourage me and other people down there to get active, organize the entire county, not just your half from the Cooper River north. You got to organize downtown, and you got to organize west of the
Well, I
Ashley.
was very impressed with what she said. She called Tim to task, saying this guy stole it. This is
They
not.
did. Yeah, we all know. I mean, we've talked about the steel in Charleston. I mean, there was a competitive race, close 50-50, problem number one. You got to walk in there with 78% of the people, right? Stop this. Oh, well, we got the majority. They cheated us. I get it. It's over. 2027. Focus on it. Quit crying at your cereal and focus on it and go win it, or file lawsuits and criminal charges and try to get the stuff done. I don't really care. Pick, do both, whatever. But just sitting on the sideline crying and saying I'm not going to participate anymore is not how we're going to solve it. We need to win Charleston. We cannot take this whole thing without winning Charleston. My friends in Horry County after 21 and the steal of the things that they did to Horry in 21, they decided to sit out of the 23 reorg. They decided to sit it out. And I'm like, I said, and I warned them at the time, I'm like, you sit it out, we are going to lose the state by the margin of delegates in Oregon. And there were 60-some delegates, I think 67 delegates maybe out of Horry County. Guess what we lost by in 2023? Was it 13, 16? 16 votes out of 950 something.
Right.
We lost by 16 votes. How many votes did we get out of Horry? Zero, I assume. I can't remember. It was zero. It was zero. I mean,
I was behind the glass, but
if they had participated, come back, take it back, Horry County, Drew McKissick would have been gone in 2023. I mean, I knew we all knew it was over in the state races and when they cheated Charleston. I can't come down there and file lawsuits and talk to the solicitor and point out all the crime and corruption and all that kind of stuff and get enough people upset and mad about it in the county that they have no choice but to give you an investigative committee. Did Charleston set up an investigative committee to their reorg steal in 2025? No. Guess what? Greenville did it 21 because we forced them to do it. They were going to have to do it. It was going to be chaos if they did not do it. They did it, and they put in everybody that hated me on that committee, thinking that they would be able to just jam something through.
If she didn't establish that special committee, I think there would have been special meetings called every month.
Oh, it would have been. We would have done it weekly. I don't care. We had enough. You just do it over and over and over and over. We were in the right.
Yes.
It is okay to do this stuff. When you're in the wrong, it's not. And I have seen people in the wrong accuse rhinos in other counties of stuff, and they get up and make a fool of themselves, and they drive more people to our side here in Greenville, and in rhino counties. Some of our people get up and they do stupid things, bitch and moan and complain about everything that's irrelevant to anything on the planet. And guess what? They drive people to the rhinos. Berkeley County, Berkeley County, I think we were pretty close to 50-50 in there. We had opportunities to take Berkeley County. Some of our people get up, come to meetings, disrupt, and guess what? We drive people. The rhinos are more strong in Berkeley than they've ever been because our people have driven people to the rhino side. I understand our people want to fight and they believe all the time, but guess what? I will tell you, myself, Presley Stutz, everybody else on our side, Presley ran for mayor in 2019. Tell me, did we ever go to a meeting from 2019 to 2021 and complain?
No.
Did we ever put up a motion about some stupid thing? We went to meetings.
Yes.
We sat there and watched. We learned and we organized. We figured out the game. And in 2021 in my precinct, we brought 50-some people to a precinct. At that time, it was like unheard of to have 50 people come to your precinct reorg meeting. And they tried to make our precinct reorg for my Timberlake precinct the most difficult thing on the planet. The church is not available, our local voting precinct. I call the church, no, it's available, it's free. If y'all want to come use it or your reorg, you're welcome to do it. They moved our precinct to have it where it would be under Nate Lloyd's thumb, where they were reviewing. We had, of the entire Hilton hotel room, we were about 25% of it in the back corner. Adam Morgan, now his brother Alan Morgan, his little precinct was doing their reorg. Next to us, it was Alan and a couple, an old couple that was there. Alan Morgan brought himself, not even his girlfriend, but brought himself, and one couple shows up for his precinct reorg. This is a guy that used to be the youth outreach guy, vice chair for the SCGOP, and he can bring 2 people because they can't go out and recruit. They can't go out and say, hey, please come join my rhino party and please come, be part of my secret, cabal group. Because guess what? They can't recruit people because, their whole emphasis is on being, a secret cabal type thing. I can go recruit a bunch of people in our precinct. All of y'all can go do that. Everybody listening, Barry and those guys did it over in Oconee. Sumter can do it. Charleston can do it. Dorchester can kick it out. We can do it in Horry County. There's plenty. We have truth on our side, which is what is the beautiful thing. We don't have to lie and manipulate. I don't have to come tell you, we spoke about 2 bills at the state EC meeting. And lie to you, make you think that we talked about both of the actual bills in controversy that we're discussing. I don't have to lie. I refuse to lie about it. If I say something I made me misspeak, we're happy to sit down and say, correct it. We're trying to do what the people bottom up wants to do. And what I find hilarious is some of the people that complain, we got to do bottom up, are now like, bottom up doesn't want what I want, so I'm going to now do top down. And I'm the state EC, and I'm going to support Drew's bill. When our people do not support Drew's bill, so don't tell me 1 month we got to be bottoms up, do what the body wants,
And then when the body votes against what you want, do a video saying there's loyal opposition to Jeff Davis, the chair of the Greenville Republican Party. Don't tell me that as Harrison Musselwhite did at the last meeting, that we're trying to quash people's First Amendment right to speak. Skip the scripture. Yeah, I mean, I get it. And we can talk. We will talk.
Before that, he put out a video before that
He
was
did.
misleading.
What?
He hadn't even read the motion that the Rules Committee was going to submit, and yet he was opposed to it.
Our Rules Committee unanimously supported this. It was a technical amendment, small, minor thing. I didn't think it was worthy of us putting together 2 Zoom calls. My mistake. Guess what, people? We will have Zoom calls and discuss these things, and we will get complete consensus on things, or a vast majority consensus. Rules Committee supports it 100%. It was promoted by our parliamentarian.
Yes.
Ray Sheen. Everybody loves Ray Sheen. Our board looked at it and we supported it, other than one person, and because it was taking First Amendment speech. Because
No, because
we'll get
it was
it didn't have
something
it
from
was
Robert.
Yeah.
because it was 1 page instead of 4 pages.
Right.
It didn't have all everything. I've never heard such a thing, but it was supported by everyone. And then all of a sudden, we're taking away somebody's free speech. Guess what? There are people that were listening to that free speech thing that didn't told me they couldn't come to the meeting because they were sick. Fine, I get it. Don't want anybody with the flu come to the meeting, make more people sick. Guess what? That person could have participated if we had been able to put them on Zoom.
Right. Yeah.
We're literally empowering more people to have free speech to get and participate. It's not far for me to drive to the library from Ebenezer or whatever the big one. I mean, Gallinsville. It is closer for people in Gallinsville to go to an Asheville GOP meeting than it is to come to a Greenville GOP meeting. Look at the southern part of the county. It is a long way.
Yep.
Our people that drive from Fountain Inn, I'm like, they might as well get a hotel. I mean, stay the night. It would be romantic. Help America.
And they don't want to be in the meeting until
If I
12
come to
o'clock.
legislative on Thursday night, we get done at 9:30, and be back for 10, it probably makes sense.
Yes. But that's the dedication that it takes. And guess what? I love them showing up in person, but if somebody's sick or somebody,
Right.
who wants to spend the $10 of gas to drive all the way up here?
Maybe you said it, every online meeting, there's option to be here.
Here.
So-
And the board is always here.
We have had online hybrid meetings, and I don't think we have ever had a Zoom only meeting. We have had hybrid meetings where, guess what? You want to come here, you can come here, but you can also come on Zoom. One of the people that complained at the meeting, and I wish we could just sit there and go through the meeting and that point, this problem, complained that, if I do on Zoom, sometimes my microphone doesn't work and I feel like I'm being cut off. Guess what? You use it. It's 90% of the time it's user error.
Yeah.
I'm not aware that we're silencing anybody. I will, especially with these hybrid Zoom meetings, we'll sit there all night. People get off with our votes, whatever. But I'm like, you have the option to drive over here, sit at this desk or that desk, or be in the room. If you had a fear that Jeff Davis or our teller committee or our credentialing committee was going to hit mute on you and not let you speak.
Let's clarify, it was the same person who has not shown up to any meeting since the convention.
Right.
So.
Elizabeth Jean.
So what is doing?
Listen, I don't know if you use the word. Just say the name. But I'm like, you got to be kidding me. There was no stealing of First Amendment rights. And let me finalize that before I'm going to break out sweating.
You're feeling better today.
I feel better. Actually, this kind of helps me. But
Get his blood pressure
I was
up.
not feeling
I
good
don't
this
know where
morning.
this is coming from.
I don't know. I just a little perturbed. I ate a nice ham and egg biscuit.
Yeah.
That's all right. But after the meeting, several of us went and had a hamburger, and I was happy to be eating a hamburger without getting a massive gout flare up because of the chemo. But we're sitting there, and Greg Pack is on a Signal chat, which I've already been deleted from.
Statewide signal chat.
Statewide Signal chat that I've already been deleted on while
By
I've always been
Musselwhite,
deleted
who's the-
by Harrison Musselwhite and or Jim Murray. I don't know which one.
Harrison,
But they delete because they did not like hearing what I had to say. I don't know. I got plenty of things to do, and I've been, certainly over the past years. I mean, I'm a little absent on some things because we've been preoccupied with stuff. I've been deleted. Where's my First Amendment right there? But we are sitting there at a table, 8 or 10 of us, and Greg shows me his phone. He's not writing anything on his phone, not doing anything. He pulls his phone up and shows it to me. He has been deleted from that chat by Harrison Musselwhite. Deleted him
Harrison.
and stole his First Amendment right.
What's
Which
interesting
I
about
did address with Harrison.
To know.
According to Matthew 18, I approached it. I reached out to him separately on Signal, and I said, Harrison, I see that you don't consider my First Amendment rights. You and I need to sit down to discuss this. Silence.
Of course.
Which is not permitted by scripture. So you want to quote scripture,
Right, exactly.
please quote it in context correctly. What he quoted was for the church, not for non-church meetings.
Exactly.
That's right.
That's what Republican means.
But back to my point of why you don't make a fool of yourself in these meetings. How many people? I mean, because I've seen people get very outright upset about what Harrison said in quoting scripture, saying that God in the Bible says, God's word says, we have to have in-person GOP meetings. I don't get it.
Right here in the bottom.
Right there in the Bible.
I want to know what version he's reading.
Yeah, really.
I mean, granted, the Bible supplants Robert's rules, but I can't find it in the Bible. And everybody thinks that. So.
I will challenge you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they are so desperate. Think about the people that drive to us. I'm going to take a break.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Next.
Let's talk about 33.
I think I've talked about pretty much about 3310. And I'm just waiting to see what happens. I was impressed with how many people showed up. That
How
people were
many
good.
people were there?
It was a full room. They moved it from a small room to a
And
bigger
we
room.
filled up the room, and
90% is showing up.
Pardon me?
90% is showing up.
Yeah.
Make yourself seen.
I was. There's evidence. I was.
They had stickers. They had name badges. There was some organization to it. We will be more organized next
I
time.
think we need to be organized and have. We should get together. All these people. I mean, they talk together. They need to get together and have a concise topic and points to make. Speaker after speaker after speaker. Very much like what Drew did. So that's it. One thing interesting I thought was we had 4 people who were 4 or 5 who spoke that they didn't want either bill to go through. So the first premise of the meeting was that the 46 whatever and 3310, which one is better? So people for and against, and we had 4 or 5 people. And I noticed
They were liberal NGOs. It was the
exactly.
Yeah,
They're all NGOs, and they say we basically were saying we want the ability to screw up with any party's trying there. That's basically what their argument was. And then he said they're all NGOs. He said, where does their money come from? One of the interesting guys was there. He had a whole group of people out on the lawn with tents and everything. Had 15 free pizzas. Yeah. The last guy in the picture, man, that's what the guy who's talking about it's financially impossible to do. This is all that. And I'm sitting and look at and there are all these college kids there running around playing hacky sack and frisbee and free pizza. And I was going, no wonder you wanted to do this. How can you do it? All these people get in their cars, pay their own gas, both sides, come down here, and then you've got free food, tents, and all the freebies. Where does your money come from?
That is something. 15 free pizzas is something. You have not. We literally in 2016, Olga and I rented a little furnished apartment right there. This old hotel room right there, a block from the State House. We rented it from January through May. We went to all the hearings, all the stuff, and because it's difficult driving from at that time Charleston or up here in Greenville.
And all the parties of night.
What you see at night, 15 pizzas is not.
Really?
This is, and those parties are going on, is liquor's flowing, fancy food, not pizzas, being dealt out. If you saw a tweet from, or a post out there from Fitz News, where apparently two unmarried legislators were caught off of a police officer's body cam having sex in the back of a vehicle. That's the type of crap that is going on. I could not wait in May to get the hell out of Columbia. I was so disgusted with everything we saw and experienced.
That is disgusting.
And I just a small sidebar with I see Fisty's got a lot of grief about even hinting. He hasn't put names out there. There's apparently a video. I'm sure it's up to FOIA. I'm sure it'll eventually come out. I'm not going to stop the world to go try to figure it out. I was kind of curious of who are two unmarried house reps. You know, are they both at the time? They did distinguish that, so it kind of helped narrow some things down. The only complication was either is it a man and a woman?
That's right.
I diverse. But I saw up. He said, "Oh, that's just tabloid. That they're unmarried. They're free, and welcome to do that." And my thing is, no, it is not. Number one, that's assumedly
That's high school.
yeah, that's I get all that. But consider this, and they're I mean, you know, drugs, sex, money. I mean, rock and roll. I mean, you know, I think if I'm an elected official, you ought to be giving yourself voluntary drug tests and putting it out there. You know, they want, you know, cognitive test of Trump and all that kind of, you know, but they have to put their finances out there. I will tell you what will motivate probably a legislator to compromise his or her values is probably sex more than the money.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, you know, and you know, if I'm having sex with some other legislator, even unmarried, it's a relevant issue because that person, one or both of them, may do something strange to support their other bills. You know, they're not representing their constituency. They're keeping their lover satisfied in a multiple, you know, on their voting. I mean, that is what goes on.
Yeah.
That is what goes on. And it goes on. That was two legislators apparently, but there are lobbyists that do this. You know?
No, you should go down there just as education and see what goes on. Just go to these hearings. I'm promoting this. Go down there and see what goes on. It's very interesting.
Just observe. Do what we did from 19 to 21. Just go observe.
That's what I did.
Never want to go again.
Yeah.
Well, at least you want to take a shower. Yeah, exactly. You want to come home and take a nice hot shower.
Right.
So, but you go down and see, look at the characters around there. That's, I mean, to me, it's just fascinating.
But look at the state senator out of Charleston that replaced, you know, Sandy Sins-a-Lot or whatever. But I mean, you know, he was cheating on his wife with either a campaign consultant or lobbyist. That's what's going on all the time. I mean, there is a lobbyist, former Democrat, that is a lobbyist that's doing stuff that literally an organization that hires this lobbyist, somebody that I know was part of that organization, told me that they laugh and joke about it because they laugh about that person being the most expensive prostitute in the state of South Carolina. They pay her because she's having an affair with influential state senator to get their stuff through. I'm like, this is the same thing we talk about with lawyer legislators. Who are you going to hire? Joe Blow lawyer over here, which is pretty darn good, or crappy lawyer legislator over here that elected the judge that he's going to go plead your case in front of? The legislator. The lobbyist that's sleeping with them. The other house rep that they're sleeping with.
Right.
You know, it's not, you know, it is tabloid if you're talking about it in your homeowners association, in your neighborhood, but it's not tabloid with your elected.
And I think Charlotte probably did this too. How far exactly did they get into the discussion on before it started?
I thought that they did pretty well. They just let people testify or whatever, advocate for their side. They pretty much got through everybody.
They got through all four of those.
No, they got through two bills, and only the two.
Also, to their credit, those two bills, which I think strategically they put them at the end, so they can run the clock out. But I think they got a little scared about how many people showed up.
Yeah.
So Jordan said, well, it looks like there's a lot of interest here. We're gonna put these two bills at the top.
So they did come.
They put them at the top, and they pretty much, I think they might have not.
They kind of talk about both at the same
Yeah,
time.
both. He tried to do one or the other, but then he goes like, I got a list of people, talk what you want to talk about.
Yeah.
And
But they did not have time to debate it amongst themselves and or do a vote. So
Right.
they will have to, hopefully,
But he claimed by their rules, they could not vote on it that day.
they can. Once it, the
That's what he
legislature,
said.
which is true. The legislature on Wednesday goes in at noon. Oh, I'm sorry, 2:00. 2:00, they call the House in. They literally don't do anything to 3 because there's that whole, the House is different than the Senate. The Senate starts on time. The House it'll be an hour later. That's when they check in and press the button that they're there, the green button that they're there. But by rule, they cannot take any votes in a committee. They normally have to shut the committee down when the House goes into session. So we knew it was going to happen at 2:00, that everything was going to stop. So in theory, I mean, I know a lot of people wanted to speak,
I would say.
but you could have just sat there. Yeah, you could have just sat there and said, why don't we do 3 on this side, 3 on that side? Y'all decide which 3 you want, and let's talk about it. And then that give us, as a committee, an opportunity to debate it and perhaps get to a vote. But they were happy to let everybody speak.
Yeah, because it ran out of time.
Yeah, they run the
We
time.
hope they will. I assume they may, to kind of keep the natives happy a little bit, but I mean, they may not. In the old days, and then certainly if there's not a lot of unrest, they would have said, "Oh, I got a hearing. We gave you a hearing. We didn't get to a vote. It's just been too busy down here this year." And
Those two bills really don't have a whole lot to do with each other. Not really.
well,
No, one is dealing with candidates and one is dealing with.
the candidate one also deals with closed primary, so
It
there's
does
a crossover.
primaries and saying that you have to, quote, be registered as in a party that you can only
Each
vote.
person to vote has to be like that, or just.
No. Voters have to be registered,
In their party.
and they're pretty particular. They have rules on how you are actually registered, and they both kind of allow for nonpartisans, which the other 4 group of NGOs want to do. That you don't have to really be registered until like 45 days in
The
advance.
second one, the third.
Both of them kind of do that.
They both said that?
Yeah, they're, and which is what I don't like, is that nonpartisan should not, if you can't, put skin in the game, just stay out of the game.
60 or 3643 actually lets nonpartisans vote, but what happens is the day they vote, they actually
Then you
technically
become
register in that party on the day of the voting.
Yeah.
And
Or
then
they
they have to
become
turn.
registered and say,
yeah.
I want to vote I'm nonpartisan, but I want to vote in the Republican primary. By that, you are committed, you got going on record that you are a Republican.
Until
Until the next.
Or
Until you switch.
Until you switch, you can go, you
So that's
walk
not
away,
gonna
go back and say, I'm
be anything-
nonpartisan.
All you have to do under that one is at the beginning of the year,
Okay.
send the state election commission an affidavit saying you are now back in as an independent, and then you are back as an independent.
I mean, there's a lot of details to be worked out. Neither one of them, even just on the take out the candidate issue. Just on there's issues to discuss and ferret out.
Which is like Mark Smith once said, let's get it out on the floor and see,
And
let the sausage be
But
made.
another thing is all these guys said, yeah, we take our name off of it. Well, it was such a bad bill, they should have put their name on it.
But they didn't know. They didn't know. There's America First state
They don't
ECs.
look before they sign?
No, they don't.
No.
They don't.
They don't.
They just
A lot of them don't even know what.
Our people did. Our people in counties that are state ECs that went to that December 13th meeting had not read the bill. They didn't know. It's okay. I mean, there's a lot. I get it. That particular they even if they read it, they didn't know the background and the history or what the ulterior motive was. I can give you the history of the 2 for 3 rule.
It's got to go back 6 years.
Somebody,
You know, you might have been with it.
Yeah.
We got that.
Yeah. We got any more on that? I mean, but closed primaries is something we're fighting for. Ultimately, we're not going to get it until we control the SCGOP and that bully pulpit.
Text me on the chat if you have more questions or clarifications.
So there's a lot.
Thank you,
Let's,
Frank.
let's do our pro-life. Thank you, Frank, for doing that. Thanks for taking the drive down there.
Loads of fun.
I'm not approving your mileage expense report that you
Just claim it on your taxes.
said.
Can I do that too?
Well,
Volunteer work, right?
I can't give legal or tax advice. Certainly not on a video where I'm gonna get a letter from
South
the
Carolina.
CPA Association. Why are you giving tax advice? You're going to jail.
Just one more thing.
All right, Ray's got an update on the pro-life stuff, I hope, maybe. We'll
Yes.
see.
Okay, last week I misrepresented. I said that there was we had 4 bills that would reduce abortion. Now we have 5.
Who submitted the fifth? Is it new or you just found it?
I just heard about it earlier this week. Lee Bright submitted S783, which, except for a few words, looks an awful lot like S781 that Lieber submitted. I haven't had a chance to read them in detail, but one of them basically is saying anyone conceived deserves protection, and the other one says everyone's a person, whether you're born or not. So that's kind of disheartening. We couldn't pass a bill with a 3-way split, so now we got a 5-way split going on.
It's okay.
But we'll do the best we can, and it's doubly disheartening because pro-aborts are actually very demoralized from what I can see. When I was at the hearing for Harris's bill, it was the second time in a row. I can actually hear the weariness in the voices of the pro-aborts. It was bad back in October. They were very excited in March. They were depressed in October. They were very depressed just a few weeks ago. As a matter of fact, Representative Wetmore actually had to thank them for coming out because it's so hard on them, to keep up the good fight for abortion. And even here at home, one of the regulars at the pro board said that's a regular abortion clinic. Richard is getting more and more aggressive. It's actually to the point where we're on the verge of getting the police involved for assault. But the worst antagonist of all, Kawani, has been missing for months, and no one really seems to know where she's at.
We outwork these people. When you're in the right, you can outwork them. And that's what we have to do. We have to outwork them. Pick and shovel work. We have to not quit. When you're in the right, don't quit.
Right.
Never surrender.
Yes.
Donald Trump did not quit after 2020. They would not have prosecuted him. The FBI would not have raided his place. All that kind of trash. And we don't quit, and we're not going to quit on this.
Never
The
quit.
time now is to push because the pro-aborts are demoralized. I compare it to Vietnam. The Tet Offensive was basically the communists going down in a blaze of glory. They knew it was lost. They sent people to Paris to talk about peace terms, and then all of a sudden they see all the protests going on in the United States, and they decided, I'll be darned, it worked after all. And this is what we're seeing right now is we Americans are really bad at knowing what victory looks like.
Yep. I think the saying is we always seem to steal victory from the jaws of defeat.
Thank you very much. However, I've made a little bit of progress on the pro-life summit that I've talked about. I actually have a place and a date. Still working out some other details.
What we're trying to do, what Ray's been working on, kind of in his charge, is can we get pro-life, all the pro-life groups to come together and discuss? We can't get all pro-life groups. What is their real motive? We can't get all SCGOP, ECs and chairmen to come together and discuss closed primaries and what we want to support. Why are these people saying they support something they're not? I will go talk to anybody who wants to further school choice. The only people I know they refuse to talk to us. A lot of the pro-life people refuse to talk to us. So they'll come talk to us individually, give a presentation, but I don't want any questions afterwards. I certainly don't want to hear questions from these people.
I actually had a lot of amazing yeses to my initial feeling. Feeling things out. I actually had an amazing number of yeses. Of course, proof is in the pudding. We'll see who actually shows up when we host it. But I will end on a positive note. H 4816, Egypt's bill, which is something we had talked about before. It's the one where there's a statute of limitations on a death. If not murder itself, it's bizarre. If you sustain an injury that contributes to a death, the death takes place more than 3 years after the injury, then you can still be put in jail for assault and, in this particular case, child abuse, but
Not murder.
not murder, because the injury took place more than 3 years than the child died. Egypt's bill is actually it's actually been filed. It's H 4816. So I'm gonna want to follow that. I've actually talked to Egypt's mother and the family. She has a very good story to share.
Yeah, and that whole statute of limitations on that murder issue is new since I was in law school. When I was taught in law school, there was the case was, I break into your house, Terry, I hit you over the head with a hammer, but you don't die. I get arrested and all that kind of stuff. But then 20 years later, you die. And if they can say the contributing major whatever factor is the fact that you got hit with a hammer on the head, I can get prosecuted for murder. There was no statute of limitations, but for whatever reason, and I think I looked it up, maybe it was around 2001 or something like that, they added this statute of limitations for this stuff, which I can see arguing it on both sides. I mean, you got to open yourself up to, but I'm like, no, especially with kids, it makes no sense. So we're supporters of that bill, I think, as well, and there's a lot of things we can do. So, but it's about being non-emotional. It's about the process. It's about the pick and shovel work, getting out there and knowing how to get the right people elected, get people elected that aren't going to flip on you immediately because they get some seats at the Bon Secours Center for all the concerts and all the hockey games and all this kind of stuff, and you're willing to strap, the people of Greenville County with another $248 million to expand the Bon Secours Arena. So let's figure it out. Bob?
Yeah, can I just mention that we have a Zone 7 meeting coming up on January 28th at the Pelham Road Library. And we encourage everybody who's able to attend. You don't have to be Zone 7 to attend, but if you are, especially please come. And we have going to have a lot of interesting discussion at that meeting. I understand one of the things has something to do with safe elections concerns and a number of other topics. So this Zone 7 meeting is growing, I think, and it's going to be interesting and worth talking about. 6 to 8 on January 28th.
Yep. And we got to be out by 9 when the library closes.
Yes. So be ready to talk quickly and get out of there on time.
Yeah.
28?
28, next Wednesday.
Okay.
Next Wednesday, Zone 7.
Okay.
It's near us, but it's the Pelham Road Library. It's real easy and convenient for people to get to. And we highly obviously encourage it.
I could piggyback on that. For,
You guys going to have an open mic?
We always.
There is.
We have an open room.
Open road.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I like, yeah.
If I could piggyback on that, for people in other zones or even precincts, my website identifies when the pro-life committee meetings are. We'd love to have representatives from the different zones and even precincts come. If nothing else, just to be aware of what's going on in the pro-life, so you know what to take back and what to tell your people as far as what we can do politically to end abortion, plus the whole myriad of all the other pro-life issues.
There's much more we need to do, even from the county level, to help with organization, growth. We need more people. We need more volunteers. We need more representation from various areas, out of Greenville County, out of the whole state for our statewide issues and things like that. We have to get 5,000 members. We need to get more people. He needs a representative from each zone. We need active zones. We need active precincts. We need all this type of stuff. So that's what we're trying to help support and facilitate. Bob.
And one of the things we'll be discussing at the Zone 7 meeting will be the idea of getting people to make a commitment to vote as part of this project.
I mean, we sent out tons of texts and all that kind of stuff, trying to get people to come vote. For the December 23rd, election, whatever. I mean, that was a tough one. But then I get some people say, "Oh, I didn't even know there was an election." We all probably heard that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So some people were.
I've had people tell me they didn't know there was an election. I didn't look and thought, we sent you a text about it.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. I get it. Get lost in the.
So one of the things we're going to talk about is the idea of a Patriot's Promise, promising to vote and getting people to state on record they will vote, because there's so few people that vote. It's pathetic.
It is. And we want increased voter turnout. Think about that, doing it in your own precinct. Go out there and say, hey, we just want, obviously we're only not going to hopefully Republicans' door, but say, hey, will you commit to vote? I, as your precinct DC or president or precinct representative, I'll remind you of when the vote is. I will help give you some information. Can have a meeting in our precinct if necessary or whatever. Or I'll bring you a voter guide of what the party thinks. Imagine, Bob goes finds 150 people, 200 people, 300 people in his precinct that commit to go vote, and then he comes back and gives them the information on our recommendations or the America First slate, that they can vote on in their precinct, and gives them that information. That's how you increase voter turnout. You don't increase voter turnout by saying, my cause is voter turnout, and I'm going to go distract and talk about every other stupid issue on the planet out there. Go out. If that's your issue, figure out how to do it. I gave you a solution. It's not easy. Go get 300 people in your precinct to commit to voting, just a Patriots pledge to vote, and then go make sure they remind them when the vote's coming up. Do that. That's hard work. But guess what? Just like we talked about at the beginning, that's a solution. We can maybe find an easier way, but that's the solution to do it.
One of the things we'll be talking about at the Zone 7 meeting, Scott Gear is going to be doing a presentation about how to go about encouraging people.
Right. And Scott's going to talk about GOP Plus, and I assume primarily starting off with what we're doing on what he's doing on the legislative analysis stuff. I find it easier to look at through our system than even the state system. I look in there and search for words that I know are there, and in the state system they don't show up. And I'm like, why is it not showing up? It should show up on the system, but they don't. Olga's going to give it up, or Terry, speak.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You got the movie on the screen.
Oh.
Name and precinct. Speak loudly. See, Bob is a lawyer. He knows to speak loudly.
Okay,
So
well, I'm getting feedback. Terry Wicker, Super Mill, president, and fifth vice chair of Greenville County.
That's right. Scary Terry.
Scary Terry. That's right. Don't make me put chairs up. Movie, Melania, we have, the last time I checked, there's 10 available tickets left in the main theater part that we'll be at. Now, not the handicap, but the ones up front, like A and B, those seats, there's plenty there if you want to sit like this. But go ahead and get your ticket. That'll be February the 1st, $3:20. And then after the movie, we're meeting at, what is it, Wild Wings?
Yes, I think it's Wild Wings.
Wild Wings,
Yeah.
Wild Aces.
Yeah, that's next door to the.
Right, next door to the theater. We need to know if you come into that, because we've got the porch part, the heated porch part reserved, and it only holds a certain amount, but we want to talk about the movie or just come and talk. Baseball game. Are we buying for the movie tickets, you've got to buy your own tickets. I'm sorry.
Just go to Regal.
Just go to Regal and buy your own tickets. You can do it online. There is a fee if you buy them online. I think it's $2 per ticket. But they're on sale now. Yeah, extra service charge or whatever. And then baseball tickets are $32. $32. And do we have that set up?
No, we've not set up the
We're
first,
going to
but
set it up.
save the date for April
April
19th.
the 19th.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. A lot of fun.
All you
Games
can eat buffet for $32
hot
and a
dogs
baseball game.
And a baseball game. We'll have hot dogs, hamburgers, barbecue. Food's really good. Hopefully some of the candidates will come. It'll be a meet and greet. And then we'll sit around and watch the baseball game if you like. If not, we can just sit around talk. That's what I like to do.
You got to buy your own beer though. So.
Yeah, we don't supply that. We supply tea. I think tea, lemonade, and water. That's it.
But we did this 2 years
It
ago.
was great.
It was a good fundraiser for us. We did, Bob's giving the thumbs up. We had candidates come and speak, or their representatives. We had some sponsors for that. So the cost for us is the $32.
The $32.
There's no upcharge.
Yeah.
But that covers your baseball ticket and
your meal.
And your meal.
And
if
honestly,
at a baseball game,
if you go to the concession stand, which some of you realize, you can spend $32 just on a hot dog at the concession stand. I nearly had a stroke. I mean, it was like $10 for something. I'm like, oh my gosh! And this is all you can eat.
It's actually a good. It's a good
listen, deal.
I'm about as cheap as frugal as you can get. But I'm actually a supporter of the $32. We got to do this for every game.
That's right. And we still are working on other, things. Don't forget Christmas party. It's already a done deal. December 12th.
Saturday, December 12th. We're going to do it on a Saturday. It is costing us $1,100 more.
Yes.
But we get, instead of 6 hours, we get the full 12. So it'll be a whole lot easier on our volunteers. They can get in there, set things up, and then go home and take a shower, and then we can have our breakdown crew at the end. Same place. We're going to do it at the Greer Cannon Center. We'll do it obviously with Spartan, but I assume they will. They'll want us to do it with us as well. So it's kind of in the center there. But, I think Saturday's going to be a lot easier. Some people complained about, Monday I got work tomorrow and all that kind of stuff. So plan a date night, get a hotel room, book it in Greer, December 12th. Book early. So.
And then Ray's also got his thing February 9th, right?
Yes.
At Denny's. If you want to come early to eat, go ahead and do that. This will be the second installment to socialism infiltrating the church, right?
Yes.
Okay. First one was good. I'm sure this one's going to be good.
Say the night.
The 9th.
Monday.
Monday. Yeah, put it on your calendar. And I think that's it.
Didn't that just
That's
happen in Minneapolis? They infiltrated
The church.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
At least they were open about it.
Yeah.
Most of this is everybody's got ulterior motives and they don't
Yeah.
say it. So.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it. We're not going to a church to do that. We're talking, and we're not socialists, so we're good.
All right, what else we got? Anything? Who's got something? Tom, you sent me something.
That thing I said about the immigration, what it's cost each person.
How much was it?
Oh,
you posted it out there.
26. But that was in 2023. But I did find the thing that you're talking about when it said Hobart Lewis that there's only 70,000 people.
Yeah.
Oh, was it 70,000? I thought he said 7. Okay.
7,000. I'm pretty sure.
But this is what I said right here. It says, this is WYFF News. And it says that he spoke, and this is what it said that there was.
I haven't seen his podcast, but everybody talked about it. He said there were only 7,000.
That's what I heard. It was only
Yeah.
7,000.
And you guys went to the meeting, whatever the meeting. But, and obviously I think what Tommy put out said it was some state document from 23 that there was like 117,000.
Now that's statewide.
Statewide.
But then the Greenville counties.
117
Hobart was only 7,000 in Greenville County. Okay.
South Carolina, 70,000.
70. Okay. Well,
The fastest
but still, he's under quoting the numbers.
The fastest growing demographics in the state is Hispanics too.
Oh,
16%.
that's okay. You're going to tell me that fastest growing demographics, illegal aliens. That's
Well, you don't know. And for Biden, I mean, who knows? They just gave papers.
The one I had says 117,000 illegal aliens live in South Carolina. 40,000 U.S. born children do too. It says illegal alien households add 45,729 students to our local schools. The average cost to South Carolina is $4,752 per illegal alien.
Yeah.
And then
there's a huge financial cost to this that people need to realize. I think nationally we're 20% down on murders nationally last year. Apparently, they're saying. I think there's some correlation with getting out the worst of the worst, or the self-reporting of the worst of the worst that ICE is going in there getting. I mean, there is a connection, right? There's got to be something.
Well, it's the whole deal. There's a misunderstanding. They get this idea that if they're born on U.S. soil, they're a U.S. citizen. That is not true.
And Trump's working on it.
If you read the actual law, it states that one of your biological parents has to be a U.S. citizen. Not that they could be born on U.S. territory, on property, or U.S. soil.
It's been misapplied for a long time.
For a long time, because they think, well, you're over here, you have a child here, that makes the child a citizen. Here's the easiest way to solve this problem. Fine, we give the child dual citizenship. When they're 18, if they want to come back legally, and they have to declare their citizenship and give up their citizenship.
And it also,
Because I do know people that have done this. I had somebody I went through basic training in tech school with. He was a American citizen and a British citizen. His mom was British. He was born in the U.S. based in England.
Mhm.
When he was 18, he decided to come in the U.S. Air Force. And they said you have to declare one or the two. Give up your British citizenship, or you keep both, but you can't get any security clearances. You have to give up this British citizenship, this security clearance for a job.
Well, that makes sense because you
Think
could
about
always be selling if you got, yeah,
But what it
security.
boils down to is that's where you put it. You put it in that point where, okay, I'm gonna give you dual citizenship, but you're going back with your parents because they're not.
Right.
And then when you're 18, you can apply to come here as a citizen, but you have to sign an affidavit saying you're renouncing your other citizenship.
At some point, you need to make a decision.
Yeah.
You can't be both. I mean, I think we have elected officials that are dual citizens. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, that's a bit of a problem.
That
Olga
is.
is still technically a dual citizen, Polish and American. She's never, I mean, why give up? There's no point or issue or concern. It's not, but if,
The
you know,
top
I mean, if she shouldn't have top secret clearance in the military if she has any sort of,
That's right.
I'm not running for office. or
if she was
Yeah.
running for, I mean, at some point, yeah. So I got no problem with
Yeah.
that type of
I
stuff.
don't either.
But you know, at some point you do need to make a decision.
another point on the.
Could you imagine a U.S. president with dual citizenship?
On the birthright citizenship is the parents have to be here cannot be here under false pretense.
Right.
That's
If
true.
they're both illegal.
If they're
You come in
both
here
illegal.
illegally,
You're here on the false pretense.
Or just here to have
Visiting.
the baby.
right.
You know, I mean, there are a lot of Russians and a lot of Chinese.
They
Chinese
Fly into
are
Miami
really-
or fly into
Oh, yeah.
California, have a baby and go back.
Yeah, they're saying that there are. I heard it the other day. I can't remember the number, but how many children, Chinese children, that are actually dual citizenship because they were born here or while their parents came here to visit.
There are entire subdivisions that the Chinese have bought
Mhm.
that are homes for people to live in, so that when they come here, have the baby, and then come back, go back. Let the next people come in and have the
They
baby.
buy hotels to do that.
Yeah.
There's some U.S. territory somewhere that's ours, that the Chinese,
It's closer.
everybody there is,
Yeah.
there's lots.
Those loopholes.
Yep.
When it was
We need to
1,000 people, no big deal. When it becomes a mechanism for war against the United States of America, we need to fix
Well,
it.
dominance.
You know, I mean, and we always call it, you know, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. They're taking it so far.
Yeah.
It has to get fixed. You know, they didn't follow principles back in the old days. They said, oh, it's only 1,000 people or 10,000 people. It's not no big deal. But now it's millions, you know, or whatever the numbers are. It's a lot. I will tell you just a quick school choice update. People are starting to figure out that these government-run school choice programs, such as the new Texas $1 billion education savings account, are nefarious in the sense that they are now using government money to fund, in this case, to fund Islamic schools. Guess what? Yeah, if it's a government-run program, you can't discriminate, and an Islamic school has as much of a right to apply for these scholarships as does a Christian school or a secular school. And there's nothing the government can say about it. The example I always use, and actually the example I used with the South Carolina State Executive Committee back in 2021, when they voted to support ESAs as opposed to tax credit scholarships, was guess what? ESAs, you start a satanic school, a Wiccan school.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? You got to give them scholarships. Public dollars have to be used to fund a satanic school. Now, there aren't that many of them, but guess what? They're becoming a lot of Islamic schools.
Some may be okay. Some may be not so okay. Some may be covers for things. Some may be similar to a Minnesota Learning Center, Learning Center. They maybe think about that. You know, I mean, you just get the names of kids, and you can just sit there and say, "Oh, we got a school, and we're submitting." You know,
Here's all the names and
here's all the names of the kids, and you know, don't check their citizenship. Don't do this, and don't
check
come ask us what we're teaching them either.
Don't even check to see if they show up.
Or show up. Yes. So that is becoming an issue in Texas right now. Texas has we have our primaries on June 9th. Texas is actually having theirs, interestingly enough, on March 3rd. Some people do them before us. Some people do them after. Texas does theirs in March, just like I think North Carolina does theirs in March as well. I think it's March. I don't think it's February.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's coming up. But there is actually I don't know what the number is, but there is a question on the primary or whatever the elections they're having in Texas on March 3rd about banning Sharia law.
Yes.
So it is a super hot issue right now, because now the people are stepping up and they're saying, you know, hey, you know, the Sharia law, Islamic schools, the school choice. I mean, imagine the connection now and how it's all coming home to roost. And it's something we've been teaching and screaming about, you know, from the mountaintop for 10 plus years, and it's now becoming a much bigger issue. And people are figuring out. I've always been the guy that says we are going to get school choice. There's too many people that want it. But, you know, there can be the Trojan horse and all this kind of stuff that people, you know, we got good, you know, friends and people that oppose all school choice. You know, I mean, you know, we shouldn't have any of it, but we are going to get school choice. Your issue is, do you want government-run school choice, or do you want independent free market school choice run by independent nonprofits who can discriminate, whether you like it or not? You know, a independent nonprofit that's running a school choice program say, hey, our goal, our mission is just special needs kids, or our mission is Christian kids, or you know, they can raise money for that and say, well, you know, you're not part of our mission, so we're not going to contribute to your school. Now, if there's a Islamic or Muslim nonprofit that does it, guess what? That's okay. I mean, can't really discriminate that, but they got to go raise the money. And if they got people that they can raise the money from and do the only way to raise money is get tax credit, so they'd have to be paying a bunch of tax. So I mean, it kind of messes. They wouldn't be stealing from the taxpayers. They'd actually have to be taxpayers themselves. So it's kind of a weird thing. I don't know how it all works out, but it's a whole lot better than, oh, it's a government program. You can't discriminate against us. Send us 100 scholarships for $10,000 a piece for our Islamic school. And that's what they're really freaking out there in Texas about right now. So it's going to be very interesting how things go over the next couple of months. So anything else? Y'all have anything?
I just have one thing, not to do with, I guess it is politics. Did you guys hear about the halftime show?
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be well, I knew who he was. I mean, I don't know who he is, but yeah. He's actually, it's going to be a drag show now.
Oh, great.
A satanic drag show. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Super Bowl.
Halftime drag show?
Yeah, it's going to have a drag show because he's wearing a dress and he's a satanic. I mean,
Well,
So-
I mean, it's in the best NFL anymore.
TPUSA is doing their own halftime show.
But you have to think, people that aren't paying attention don't know it.
Right.
So there's, once again, the left is slamming stuff down our throats.
The fight against wokeness, ESG, DEI is not over. It is highly improved, and there's hope, but we need to continue to fight it extremely hard. And I have not watched one football game all year. I don't really care. I didn't watch the national championship the other day. I'm not. It's so disgusting to me. And I used to be a huge football guy.
Well, I just remember Super Bowl parties. And they don't do that anymore.
Yeah, it's horrible. So,
It's awful. Yeah.
all right. Anything else? Olga?
No.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion granted. We're out. See you next week. Lots of stuff coming.
Well, are we not?